everything you ever needed to know about protein, and possibly a little bit more. This presentation is going to give you the complete lowdown on protein. I'm going to recap on what protein is, give you a good reminder as to why it's so essential, with a full breakdown on the best sources of protein. So you are going to be an expert on where to go and get your protein from by the end of this presentation. I'm going to show you some examples and suggestions on meal ideas and snacks so that you can become a pro at making this work for you, as well as a full explanation on how much you need, how to plan for success, and how you can celebrate your wins. Let's just take a recap and a look at that broken down house. Now, our body is where we live, and you're probably with me here. I wouldn't want to live in a house like that. How does this concern protein? Well, protein is 9 amino acids. If we think of this as the building blocks of life. So when they come together, they help to restore, maintain, and grow every single cell and fiber in your body. So if we don't get enough protein, we end up looking like a bit of a run down house in disrepair. So if you don't currently have enough protein in your diet, this is somewhat representative of that. And it's very important we take note of that, because we want optimal health. We want strong immune systems. We want to feel energized and capable. And protein, eating sufficient amounts of protein, will also help us to stay fuller, which means less snacking and less likely to overeat. So moving away from the rundown house, we want to look like a house that is well maintained. As you can see here, the builders have been in, the walls are looking super smooth, the lights are on, it's well heated. And this represents a body that is fully well maintained by having sufficient protein in the diet. So this is what we're aiming for. We live in our bodies and we want our bodies to be at optimal condition. I'm going to take you through some of the key sources of protein. Now, these are ones that I would suggest to prioritize. They're not an absolute, but they are the ones that are the most leanest. That's the less in fat, the ones that are closest to nature and the most optimal sources. So when it comes to a macronutrient point of view, this is where you will find the absolute highest amount of protein. So looking at the picture here, we can see some lean meat there, the chicken, I think there's some pork and some beef there as well. We've got some salmon, some prawns, some fish, some shellfish, and we can also see some eggs and some cultured cottage cheese and some plain Greek yogurt there as well. We can also include, if we don't eat animal products, or if there aren't any animal products on our plates and we're choosing a more vegetarian-based diet, things like lentils and beans. When protein isn't present, these are considered a source of protein, but we must be aware that they are higher in carbohydrates. We can also include things like tempeh as well if we tend to eat more of a plant-based meal selection. So these are the optimal selections, but they're not the absolute. As I mentioned, there are other sources of protein as well. So I'm just going to take you through and have a little look at those. The other sources of protein, these are ones that we should consider more moderately. They are slightly more processed, so we'll just have a recap on those, and that's protein powder, medium, lean or slightly fattier cuts of meat like lamb, tofu, which is a more processed form of soy for plant-based eaters, edamame or slightly processed deli meat, things like leaner bacon or jerky snacks, uncultured cottage cheese, chicken or turkey sausages and burger where they've been slightly processed. So they're slightly fattier options and will have a higher amount of fats than the optimal sources or the better choices of protein. But we can enjoy them in moderation, and you may see some there that you quite enjoy, which is absolutely fine. Then we come through to proteins that we would reserve for the odd occasion, and these tend to be the more fried foods. Things like fish fingers or chicken nuggets and wings, or maybe burgers that you would get in a burger bar, hot dogs, protein bars, snacks, and any kind of commercial gimmick that is touting itself as a protein snack. If we look closer onto the labels, we will find that there is a higher amount of carbohydrates and fats that is there that we can then move away from considering it an optimal source. But these are things that we can have on occasion and class them as protein. What I want to do is just take you through, starting with breakfast, some of the foods and how they look as meals when they're on your plate. So the most obvious choice when it comes to breakfast, it's incredibly versatile, is eggs. Eggs set you up for the day. They're really good for focus and brain power too. You can scramble them, poach them, fry them, have them in an omelette. You can dip your toast in them or some asparagus if you want. They are an absolute superfood when it comes to being able to have them for breakfast, lunch or dinner in many different types of varieties. Not everybody likes eggs though, so I'm just going to move forward from that and go over some of the other options. So if you're in a rush in the morning, or you tend to need something on the go, or it might be after you or before you've done a training session, you might want to grab a protein shake or have a protein-based smoothie for speed and ease. If you're currently eating cereals and you want to make it a higher protein option, you can add those cereals to Greek yogurt, or you can add fruit to Greek yogurt. Flavour it up with some frozen fruits just to give it a sweeter edge. If you want to be a little bit more luxurious or indulgent at the weekend, you could swap out for something like protein pancakes or waffles. These here are topped with some berries and some nut butter. Lunches. One of the best ways to add protein to your lunch, if you're not already, is to look at what you're eating and just add it in. So if you enjoy a bowl of soup, whether it's fresh, it's out of a can or a tub, putting in a handful of chopped chicken and just turning it into a chicken soup very quickly and easily with not too much prep needed makes it a high protein chicken soup. Or you can chuck that chicken into a wrap, or maybe you want to use tuna or eggs or beef or one of the other sources of protein. Maybe you're going to make some hummus wraps here. Ideally, for lunch or for dinner, you might fancy a salad. So this is a chicken salad that's got some dry spices on it. You can add any dry spices, so you can pimp it up with piri piri, or perhaps maybe a Cajun spice, or if you like Italian, put in some oregano and sun-dried tomatoes on whatever meat it is here. And again, it doesn't have to be chicken. It can be any of the proteins that we've mentioned. You might want to keep it super easy by just reheating some leftovers. So whatever you've had the evening before, making extra of it so you're not eating that extra, putting that away for a serving for your lunches, or maybe 2 or 3 servings of lunches for the consecutive days, and having that on hand. If you're eating out and about and you're on the go, or you're going to a barbecue, or you're hosting a barbecue at home, then we've got loads of different things from the grilled section. So when we look at a menu, if you're eating out, anything off the grilled section tends to be meat or fish. This is going to be a higher protein option. If you're vegetarian and you're out and about, have a look for anything that's got the lentil options there, chickpeas, maybe a bean chili, anything with hummus, or perhaps something with soy. That would be a go-to. Sometimes you find that there are grilled soy options. No reason why you can't have your family favourites. So if a weekly staple for you is cottage pie, or for spaghetti bolognese, something like that, then these are generally quite protein dense dishes. So keep those on your menu. Have those as one of your favourite go-tos. If you're a takeaway fan, you can have a takeaway, or you can swap it up for a fakeaway at home and just grab whatever you want out of your fridge and stir fry it with your favourite takeaway flavours. Lots of different options there. Probably seen some things that you're doing already. Might have some ideas. If you want some more ideas, I do have those recipe books, so you can have a little flick through there. or reach out with some questions. Snacks, lighter options. Again, let's just take a look at Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt is a staple when it comes to protein. We can have it sweet or savoury. So having a look at the fruit option if you want a sweeter dish, or if you do want something savoury, adding some dry spices to Greek yogurt, make it into like a ranch dressing where you can put some chopped veg in, or you can put some chopped veg into some rolled up ham or turkey to make some roll-ups just to take out and about on the go. Another egg-based option is these crustless, pastry-free quiches, or known as frittata muffins or egg muffins. And you literally can put absolutely anything in there, your favourite veggies and any other proteins that you want as well, dry spices to flavour them up, and they store well in the fridge, so you can have these hot or cold. Great for lunch boxes, great for picnics. You can eat these for breakfast as a snack or have them as part of your evening meal. They are an any time of the day snack. Easy prep go-to, chopped veg and hummus. This is a great plant-based option. Hummus is a great selection for protein if you're not taking from animal products, and the veggies are going to give us lots of goodness too. So this is quite an easy go-to. If you fancy something sweet in the afternoon, maybe you have a chocolate craving and you need to, or you want to increase your protein, going for a chocolate protein shake in the afternoon could hit that spot for you. Alternatively, we saw it on the eat less of, a chocolate protein bar. It could be a better option for you than a whole bar of some other kind of chocolate, for example. Another plant-based protein option, edamame beans, and we can roast these up with any kind of flavours that we want, or just have them straight out of their pods. These go well in cooking as well, and quite a lot of supermarkets actually make pasta out of edamame now, so this is quite a versatile option for non-meat eaters. Lots of different choices for snacks there. There are quite a lot more that I could give you as well, but I wanted to just sort of present some obvious for you to get started. When we look at the portion sizes, I'm just going to take you back to your nutrition guide. So have a little look at the plate there with the hand by the side. We are looking for a palm size amount. So that's just there in the palm is one portion. How many portions you have is on your guide for the day. So you might have 4, 5, 6. How many have you got? Check it out. Have a little look. You can have 1 or 2 per meal, depending on how many portion sizes you've got. One palm is the equivalent to 20 to 30 grams of protein net. So when you're looking in a diary tracker like MyFitnessPal, it's going to be looking for the net amount, not the weighed amount, that gross amount of how much meat is weighed. Which 20 to 30 grams net, or one palm, is the equivalent of 2 eggs, 100 grams of liquid protein like the Greek yogurt, or 100 grams of meat cooked. You can come back to this at any point. What we want to do is make sure that we are tracking and measuring our portions for success. This will make sure that we are getting enough in. Having enough protein is going to stop us from being hungry. If we are used to diet mode where we're eating as little as possible and not getting enough protein in, we could feel that just going all day feeling hungry is quite the norm, and it can be an indicator that we're not getting enough protein in the diet. Use this to make sure that you're getting enough, and when you've ticked all of those boxes off, celebrate it by clicking your habit tracker in the app to say you're on streak for your protein for the week. Get that day concluded, or if you're tracking it in MyFitnessPal, close that day off once you've hit your protein target, if that's your goal. Just focus this week on that portion of protein and make that your key focus for the week to see if you can work towards some progress and celebrate your success. Now, I've given you a lot of different ideas and options through this presentation on snacks and meals, the different types of proteins that you can find and why it's important, which is great, yeah? I've let you know how much it is that you need and how you can track those portions. But we want to make sure that we are planning ahead. So this is your opportunity now. In your day, you will see that I have added this weekly meal planner. There's various different sheets, but this is a key one to keep it nice and simple, where you can see the days of the week and the different meals. And keep this as close to what you're currently doing, what you're used to, and just add that portion of protein so that you know you're working towards it. You can use the shopping list part at the bottom there to create a shopping list for when you shop online or when you pop to the supermarket. The key here is really to choose your favourite proteins. You can create this meal plan based on what you like. Put your shopping list together and enjoy what you're eating. Just as a little bit of a roundup to bring this to a conclusion, the formula for your success with protein is to keep it simple and keep it easy. Plan ahead so that you've got obvious choices of what you can eat available to you. Make sure that those choices are from foods that you enjoy. Food should be enjoyed slowly, mindfully, and to your satisfaction. Track and measure your portions to make sure that you don't go hungry, and so that you can celebrate your wins, celebrate that day. Reach out and ask any questions. No question is ever too small. You can scroll back and replay this at any time you need. Good luck.